Da-da-ba, ba-da-ba. All right, now you get a different perspective. You get a different perspective. Now, while people are tuning in, I see 3 people are already here. I hope that works. I just have to check some texts. There we go. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Do. All right. All right, cool. There we go. Thank you, Becky Ridgway. I love that you read my mind. Can you see and hear me? And the answer is yes. So that's a really good thing. I love that, Becky. I love that you noticed that my habit would be, and notice that's going to be for my own nervous system comfort to say, can you hear and see me? Because I don't want to be talking into the void or you guys getting frustration. I hate frustration. So thank you for letting me know that you can see and hear me right off the bat. Then I don't have to spend our time doing that. So rock on. Very cool. I love that. That was really cool of you to do that. So, oh my goodness, we have 23 people here. Um, Hello to many of you who may be coming over from TikTok. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. I like doing the YouTube lives. First of all, it's kind of funny because you guys just saw me literally like my phone was right there on a stand. So, you only saw like this much, and my face is really big. But seriously, who wants to see my face this really big? I don't even want to see my face this big. No, no, see, no. But here I am. And you can see that I am decluttered and organized, but also temporarily, I've got some clutter over here because we're getting our basement worked on. There we go. I love it. Louise says, hi, Beth, going to catch you for 15 minutes minimum this one, and then out to breakfast with a friend. Yay. Yay for out to breakfast with a friend. Very cool. Very cool, Louise. I love it. Okay, something wonky just happened with my computer over there. Here, let me see if I can do something. So anyhow, then home to declutter. Okay, but you know what? Make sure you have fun with your friend. Very cool. Okay, excuse me. I walked things around. There we go. Okay. All right, there we go. A little bit better right there. Woo! It would have been kind of hard to do a Zoom call after this if I could only look at one screen. So here we are. We're on the other channel, which is kind of fun. There are usually fewer people here, so we can have like kind of more quality convos. But the same thing still apply. It's the same show, just different channel. It's what do you call it? Horizontal versus vertical. And I'm here for you. That's the only reason I show up. I think it's fun. If it was not fun, I will guarantee I would not be showing up. I'd be like, screw that. I'm not doing that. That's not fun. I think this is fun. I love that Patty M says she's catching me while doing morning chores. Yeah, now chores is interesting because chore has kind of a negative connotation to it. I don't know what else to say it. Tasks, maybe less judgy. I always think of like Little House on the Prairie and like Laura Ingalls Wilder or I guess she was still just Laura Ingalls. Laura Ingalls was doing her chores and stuff. But chores, you know what? You get something from it, you know? Okay, Becky Ridgway, you asked for it. You got a Toyota. Becky is asking. Yeah, I don't like them. Let me just, because I want to get it. Patty says, I don't like them either, but here, I don't like the word chore. But doing those things, if you don't like them, it's going to be harder for you to do them. So why not drain the emotion out of it? Notice that you do get something out of you doing your morning chores. You know? There we go. Louise says, she didn't start the fire. Been working on hubby to make a plan for decluttering this week with me. I think I've lit the fire. And you know I'm here for you. You do, both of you. I'm here today, I'm here tomorrow, and I added a TikTok live and a YouTube live on Wednesday, even though that's the day I'm leaving on my trip. And then you've got videos. So do not worry. Tell Jim Beth is there to help you. But here we go. Becky Ridgway has a special request. And she says, could you go over the habit tracker, please? This week coming up is trying to overwhelm me, and I don't want to let it. Now, here's what I want to offer. Your habit tracker is really something that tries to keep you, what I use, and I here it is right here. And look at how pretty it is. This month, because of one of my clients, I decided to make it colorful going this way. A habit tracker is really for the everyday things that you want to do pretty much every day. Okay. So those are almost like the regular things you do just on a daily basis, like brushing teeth, decluttering, things like that. Becky, my spidey sense is that the better tool in your toolbox, and I'm moving stuff so I can get to mine. The better tool in the toolbox for you is going to be so expensive, so precious. No, it's going to be like $1.99, 50-cent workbook. It's probably got a grease stain on it, but an empty page. Ideally, a big page with multiple pages where you can write shit down. Okay. So, Becky Ridgway, let's experiment. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if my spidey sense is right. Do you have, and I highly recommend it. It's worked for me. So that's why I share it with you. Do not use a fancy book for what we're doing right now. What do I mean by fancy? I mean expensive, or, you paid more money for it, but basically one that has a solid binder. Okay. What has worked for me is a spring binder. What do you call it? Spring loaded one. That's because they're more casual and they are meant to make it easy to rip the pages out. Okay, so Becky, this week coming up is trying to overwhelm me and I don't want to let it. What I would do is I would open up a page and seriously write down week of May 19th. Here are all the things that are trying to, and I love the fact that you use trying to, as opposed to overwhelming me. They're trying to, but I'm trying to stop it. Here are all the things that are trying to overwhelm me. I would also, because why the hell not, fold the paper in half. So it only takes up half the page. It's not going to overwhelm the whole page, but all the stuff that's trying to overwhelm you, write it down on the left-hand side of the paper. Get your thoughts out of your head and down onto paper. Writing down your thoughts is another one of the downs you can use. Becky, give that a shot and let me know how that works. And I can walk you through it for the next, seriously, like 52 minutes. Okay. So, hey, Ann Alexander, that sounds like fun. She turned her 20+ year of rock collection from a pile of boxes to a labeled cubby shelf this weekend. Awesome. How does that feel to have done that, Ann? I would be curious because I do this not just so things look good, but so how they feel good. Okay. So I'm hoping it feels good for you to have fewer boxes, making it easier for you to see your collection. So I'm hoping it feels good. Everything I offer here is not to make it feel worse than you are. Our destination, really, and I'm moving my head to here, our destination is basically feel better. Destination, feel better. If I'm not feeling great about something, if I'm not feeling good about something, what can I do? And these are the little dots. What are little steps I can take to get to feeling better about something? Not perfect, not done, not, all these superlatives, better. Now, this is neat. So Anne says, I feel like I can finally share these neat treasures with others and teach about the stones. And then the rest can go in the garden. Like 3 little boxes are gone. I love that. And notice what you want to do. And I can tell this because you have your own TikTok page and you seem like the kind of person who wants to share her discoveries. I'm the same way. I am the same way. So I get that. Like, oh, I found this cool rock. You want to see it? This is why I think it's cool. Creating a connection by sharing what you've discovered. That's exactly what I'm doing here with Destination Decluttered. Is I've discovered something that I think is really cool. A way to feel better in my body, in a way to feel better in my home, to feel better in my head and my heart. And it all has to do with starting learning these skills through decluttering. Yeah. And so sharing the good stuff with people. There's a lot of things that I've tried out that have not worked for me. I don't and I declutter my toolkit, and I only share with you the good stuff, the stuff that I know that's going to work. Same thing as Anne is going through with her rock collection and her box of scraps and throwing away just as many. Now Becky says so many scrapbooking items, keep or go. Let me offer this from somebody who used to think she was going to be crafty. She got inspired by seeing all these cool things people were doing and it looked like fun. So I bought a lot of the scrapbooking items or the crafty items. I have done that in the past. What I would offer to you, Becky, is the answer's in you already. I can tell because you're asking the question. You're asking for me to help to either make the decision, but I'm going to lovingly throw it back at you. Because when you realize that it's okay to make the decision, my one of my theories of decluttering is this. And where, let me see if I can get my little, hold on. Where is it? Oh, I don't know where it went. Huh. Okay. Well, I used to have a piece of rope that came out of one of these things here. Here, I'll use like this. Okay, tension. We all know that word, tension, right? Tension is this is slack, relaxed, no big deal. Pull it this way, pull it that way, no big deal. Tension occurs when there's a struggle, when you're pulling something some way and you're pulling the same thing the other way. It's the tension. What I want to offer to you is keep or go. The tension can be a lot. So here, choose. And it chunk it down and choose. Either way you do it, it's fine. Choose to keep it, the tension is gone. Choose to remove it, the tension is gone. Okay? So if you have so many, but notice so many means overwhelm, chunk it down. Becky, I bet within your scrapbooking items, you have different categories. Categorize them. See the quantity of each category you have. Then chunk down on one category and notice the quality of them. And the quality isn't just how much money you spend or how it feels, it's how it feels inside. Does it make you go, yay, I want to do this? Or, I don't really want to do that, but I spent a lot of money on it, you know? And whatever you choose, make sure it's a choice that feels good to you, that you feel secure in. If you looked back at that decision, that the likelihood is that you would still feel good about it. Okay. So notice though, you gave yourself away, you outed yourself with your words. So much means chunking it down. Now, I love this because Anne is going through the same thing. So, Becky and Anne, you might be able to help each other. Anne is saying part of the reason my scrapping booking screeched to a halt. I love that. Screeching to a halt. You've slammed the brakes on, screeched to a halt because I was very concerned with order. Notice being very, very kind of perfectionist, I'm thinking. Now, so notice perfectionism can get you screeching to a halt. Now I'm literally just taping everything onto the pages and adding what I can remember on a post-it. Yes, notice the difference between perfectionism gets you screeching the brakes on and getting started any way you can and just writing stuff down. It does not have to be. Please, please, this is going to sound very odd to many areas of our culture. Do not strive for perfection. You may get it to look perfectly good for you, but starting out trying to be perfect stops you. So don't even try to be perfect. Just try to be a little bit better than it is today. An empty page of a scrapbook waiting to be perfect. How about an empty page of a scrapbook and then you write down some memories on some post-its and you just put them on there for that one day? At least you've got your thoughts out of your head down onto paper and it's somewhere where it makes sense to you. Again, I will always go to the downs. Yeah. And Becky, notice perfectionism takes the joy out of my scrapping. Yeah. Perfectionism just drains the joy out of everything. And we are here for joy, for fun. We're not trying to be perfect. I know that for me, a lot of the things I used to do back in the day, same thing with me. Same thing with me. It wasn't perfect. So I started doing things imperfectly. I strategically took a class of jewelry making jewelry making. Did you hear how I pronounced that? Jewelry making. And I specifically remember making this one piece, which I don't know where it is. I got to figure out where it is. And I said, I am definitely making this very low budget. Like, I am going to make mistakes on this. I'm going to not try to be perfect because perfect can be ruined, but better is more fun. Okay. Yes. And this happened to me too. And this is a good reminder too. Scrapbooking and photos, sentimental objects. The only thing that separates a no-name picture from becoming a sentimental object is the story behind it. And notice even that idea of a story behind something on the back. You look at the front, it's an old person from the 1800s. You flip it over. If there's no story there, you don't know who the hell they are. And it just becomes another old person from the 1800s. Anne is saying, I've gone through so many photos and beautifully perfect scrapbooks from 1900 where nothing was labeled and it's almost worthless. It's not worth anything to anybody because the story is gone. I have dementia in my family. My dad had Lewy body, my grandfather on my mother's side had Alzheimer's. My aunt had dementia. It is distinctly possible that as I get into my 60s and 70s that what's in my brain now may no longer be accessible. I don't say this for pity. I say this as a warning to you and me and all of us. The best thing we can do is get our thoughts out of our heads, which are unreliable and unstable, and we don't know if we're going to be sharp as a tack or dull as a balloon as we get older, what we're going to forget, what we're going to remember. Getting your thoughts out of your head and down onto paper is a way to feel better and declutter your brain and provide that value when things are sentimental. Deciding what stories that are up in your head that you want to continue live on in other people in the family tree, and what other stories you're like, nah, I'm not even going to share that. I'm okay with that dying. And as Becky says, it's heartbreaking to see albums like those. Yes, I inherited two of those myself from a cousin about a year and a half or 2 years ago. And yeah, I don't even know who this, and it's such a bummer because I want to feel that connection with my ancestors. I want to feel connected to something other than myself. We are a pack animal as humans, and it can be comforting to know where you came from. But if there's no information, one of the things I did was I took a look at some of those pictures and I realized one of them was literally, I'm 90% sure, and I divided up the pictures this way, was pictures of the friends of the person who made the photo album because it was her photo album. And I thought, well, gosh, this is just like me in the 80s. I've got my senior, the little senior pictures that I had from all my friends. There was nothing written on them, but each one of them was from like a different photo place. The lack of information about things really makes things worthless, you know? And so this is why I show up and this is why I am the family archivist. Now, am I working on the family archive right now? No. And you know why? Because if you look behind me, see all this stuff right here? Because I'm surrounded by clutter. Now, I know this clutter is temporary because we're getting the basement done. If anything, that's why I'm looking at my things because we don't know if the guys are coming today or not. And it is more difficult for me to concentrate on those things when I'm surrounded by clutter, but I'm okay with that because I know that this clutter right here is temporary, and as soon as we have the space for it down the basement, this will be okay. But I offer to you, as soon as that's done, one of my things that I want to do literally in the next year is really get a handle on not just the family tree, but my own history. So I can basically be using the youngest brain I have. My brain, we are the youngest we will ever be is right now. Tomorrow I'll be a day older. And I just want to offer to you, the sooner you start to declutter your brain, the sooner you start to declutter your home, you will feel better. And you also will have more time and space in your life to do other things other than decluttering. Now, I love this because, and here, let me get my little scrolly thing here. Yeah, Anne says, I live daily with so many of those thoughts. I want to leave my girls without hassle or guilt, without hassle or guilt, and with the information and memories. So notice your destination. Destination, girls without hassle or guilt, and with information or memories. Right. Yeah, and Wendy LCM, this is a very valid point. Notice the I'm trying to say, the difference between writing something word of mouth versus writing something down. Word of mouth, because Wendy's saying, I don't even know if the stories I've been told were even true. Finding some of my family trying to hide the truth so truly isn't worth repeating if it's wrong. Yeah, as the person who is documenting your family tree, you can decide what stories live on and what don't. You can. I'm going to Ireland on Wednesday night, and we won't be in the same area where kind of the generations of my people came from. But there are certain stories. There are people that have no stories attached to them at all, and they fade away. The people who have more stories attached to them kind of live on. And writing something down means you're serious about it. Means that, think about it. Think about the difference in our world if the Declaration of Independence was just word of mouth. Now, this is interesting because in certain, yeah, there's a game changer when you write something down. When you take the time to write something down, it means more than just a random thought in your head. It's also more traceable, it's also more verifiable. Now, Candace is saying, I have a hard time getting rid of the kids' toys. Our stuff was in storage unit for 2 years, and I feel like they didn't get used to that stuff. Now it's filling closets and so hard to throw out. All right, Candace, notice what you have a hard time with. What you say you have a hard time with probably has a story behind it. Now, I am not a licensed, therapist, but there is value in asking yourself why. Why do I feel this way? Why is it hard for me to get rid of? And notice again, we're going to use the downs because the downs have proven to be helpful. So I use them all over the place. It's kind of like when you have like salt and you like stuff salty, so then you salt everything. I'm a saltaholic. What is the thought? What is the story behind it? Not just kids' toys. Again, think of walking into a store that just says kids' toys. You know it's going to be there, but then there are departments. So you've got chunking down kids' toys. One of the reasons I will offer to you, one of the reasons you may think it's hard to get rid of kids' toys could be that it costs a lot of money to buy those toys. Another reason that could factor in could be because it feels sad to realize that they're growing up and they used to play with those toys and now they don't because they're older. So it can hurt your heart. It can give you a feeling of sadness of time passing to realize that those times are gone. It can also be because you're not used to making decisions. It could also be because you grew up with people who said that people who throw things away or donate things weren't cool, that you might need it someday. What if you have grandchildren and they might want to play with that bunny? Now, what I say is kind of like any recipe. The proportions of all of those ingredients, some may appear, some may not, and some may be um, a little bit more than others. But usually, those are the ingredients that get people to hang on to things that they aren't using and that nobody else is either anymore. You may have used it at some point, but you're not using it anymore. So, what are the ingredients? Yeah, so write those down. Again, you guys, I can say this and you can say this. And sorry, got distracted. As I told you, I get distracted by thoughts or sounds. Somebody's backing up a truck. They're not going to run into my house, I hope. Um, Writing down those things reminds you, oh, that's what's going on in the background. Oh, okay. If we just keep it up in the air in the ether, it can disappear. It can disappear. Wait, what was that thing I was about to say? It's like a grocery shopping list. When you go to the grocery store, it's so much easier to remember what you want when you've written down what you don't want. Or when you've written down what you want and you go and you focus on it and you get it, you've chunked it down. I want a individual cup of triple cheese mac and cheese, Kraft only. Anything else? No, but that's exactly what I want. So when I go to the store, that's what I'm looking for. Again, the difference between the word of mouth that can disappear, and then next thing you know nothing, or writing something down. Now, this is why I offer to people, and this is really cool. There are 46 people here on a YouTube live. This is very unusual. I hope a lot of you maybe came over from the TikTok page, but if you haven't and you're just kind of scrolling around on YouTube, hey, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I grew up decluttered, or excuse me, cluttered. I didn't like it, but didn't know what to do for decades because I didn't learn. Then I've had jobs and teaching and stuff, and I have finally, by the time I was about 40 or 50, my combo of learning how to declutter and making things look good. And I wove it into kind of some life coaching that I also desperately needed. And that's why I am here, is to help you. I'm not here for myself. I don't care to hear myself talk, but I am only talking so that I can share info that helped me with you. So if you're feeling anywhere in that same boat, if you've got clutter, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're like, oh my God, it's too late. What the hell's going on with my life? I'm here for you. And I show up as myself. This is me. Um, Real and human, not AI generated. AI would not generate this, right? Okay. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes you can save things for a good reason and then things change. Patricia Holmes says, all the toys my mother saved for the next generation had paint in them. So, what did Patricia do, which I thought was great? She took pictures of them, and then having the pictures of those toys made it easier for her to get rid of them so the kids did not suck on things and get brain damage. I love it. There we go. So, Seaside, I love it. I'm glad you think this is helpful. So, just to speaking of the helpfulness, I like to be helpful. What can I say? Um, I do a TikTok live and a YouTube live. I've gotten into the habit. I was on TikTok for years, and then I took a break, but now I'm back. And then I realized how many people were still on TikTok. So I am showing up for the month of May and probably beyond, doing a TikTok live and a YouTube live almost every Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends. Now, I love my flexible life. I have a flexible life. So the reason I mention that, not to show off, but to set you up for, my TikTok lives and YouTube lives are scheduled on different days of the week at different times of the day, and it's different every week because that's how I roll. But the neat thing is, if you want to find out when to tune in, if you like what you're hearing and you want it to be live, I have a free mailing list that you can hop onto, and that mailing list people get the access to a page on my website that has what I call the TV guide that shows, and I'm going to look it up right now actually because I want to just make sure I'm saying the right thing. Doop. So you get on the mailing list by going to destinationdecluttered.com. And yeah, right now on the hidden page, we've got two declutter parties in May. One of them is today. One of them today is in 31 minutes. Monday, May 19th, 10 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. The next declutter party after that is not going to be until May 31st because I'm traveling. Then the live schedule. Monday, May 19th, 8 a.m. TikTok Live, 9 a.m. YouTube Live, 10 a.m. Declutter Party. Tuesday, May 20th, Wednesday, May 21st. Then I'm off the digital grid. Then the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. So I am here a wicked lot for you, live and good. Seaside 7, I love that you just joined the mailing list. And also, since this is the cool thing, you guys, since you already know where the Destination Decluttered um, YouTube channel is because you're here, is if you like it or follow it or something. Again, I'm going to look at it right now on my own other screen here. This is where all the resources are. This is like your resource library of videos, shorts, lives. It says podcasts. I'm not quite sure what that is, but there are literally 700 videos, and it's just going to keep on growing on that page just for you. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at them, and like the screenshots look the same because I pretty much dress the same, and I have for the most part, like the same background. Every single one of them is similar but different. So when I am not here live for you, no need to fear. Underdog is here. There's no need to fear. Underdog is here. No, you can just pop on any one of these videos. And even if you were on it, you will pick up things that you didn't. It's almost like having an hour-long audiobook. But There are different stories, there are different perspectives, other people chime in with their things. Every one of them has content of value, okay? So I hope that helps. So getting on the mailing list, seriously, it's the number one thing. Also, it would be silly of me to forget that I do one-on-one coaching, because I do one-on-one coaching with people. And I'm going to be kind of revving that up a little bit more in the summer, but I've been busy with my travels. But so I will be letting people know about that, and the people on the mailing list get the first dibs. Okay. So anyhow, um, okay. So Patty M says, thinking I have plenty of time, and then everything happening at once. Is that really true, though? Proms, birthdays, senior activities, graduation parties, and vacation, all in 2 weeks. Executive decision, problem freeze. Okay, honey bunch, I know that feeling, but let me give you a better feeling. Now, I had a wicked busy weekend. Let me see if I even have if I've done this. What I want to offer to you is this. You have a thought in your head, I'm out of time. You know what that speaks to me? That speaks to me is, one is, it could be legit, or it could just be a thought that causes you to feel overwhelmed and believe that you don't have time, so you don't even try. Okay, so Patty M, think about this. This is what I do. This is exactly what I do. Okay, I, again, from the TikTok live, spiral bound notebook, lined paper that you can tear out. I create a daily calendar. My day takes up a whole thing. This is what my daily calendar is. So if you say for the next 2 weeks, Patty M, okay? Patty M, every day, Monday, May 19th. And then this is what I do, exactly what I do. 6 a.m. and then I skip a line, 7 a.m., skip a line, 8 a.m., skip a line, etc., until you get down to like around 8 p.m. here. Making one of those here. I'll flip even to this. See, I'm already up to, this is a blank page right here, okay? Thursday, June 19th. I've got a template. Now, do I right now know what I'm doing on June 19th? No, but I know what I did today. So I block out, I put blocks in. So when you have the thought of I don't have time because everything is happening at once, they're not happening at once unless everything is scheduled from 11 to 2 on May 24th. They are technically not happening all at once. They are happening in a short amount of time. But I would say this to you. Get a notebook like this. Make a page from now until the end of those 2 weeks. I've done it. So can you. And then put those things that you currently feel are happening all at once in their proper slots. When is the prom for so and so? Block it in. When is the birthday for so and so? Block it in. When is the senior activity or activities? Blocking them in. When is the graduation party? Block it in. Block it in, Johnny. God, I sound like when is the vacation? This is something that will get you unfrozen. Okay. Do you guys remember playing freeze tag when you were a kid? We used to play it. Used to run around somebody's backyard, and then like it would either be like they froze you, or you froze, or they froze, or somebody, but there was always that person who tagged you, and then you were not frozen anymore, and then you could run around, right? I'm the person who's tagging you and reminding you, putting your hand, break the spell. That idea of you have no time, everything's happening all at once is a spell. I put a spell on you. No, break the spell. Break the spell by grabbing in one hand a notebook, in another hand your pen. And if you're right-handed, you'll probably do it this way, but I'm left-handed, so I do it this way. All right? So Patty M, get yourself a notebook. It will change your freaking life. And you will then, like today, like this was, seriously, look at how messy that got. You know, that's okay. On my weekends, I do a different one for the weekend. I just split it in half because it's not like Monday through Friday. This was my Saturday. But you know what I did? I chunked it down and I got a lot of cool stuff done and it felt good. It felt good. It didn't feel overwhelming. So I offer this as a strategy to all of y'all. It's very low budget. That's fine. I don't want to you investing in anything fancier than a 50-cent notebook from Staples. Probably this time of year they're not 50 cents. They might be $1.45, but you deserve it. I say that because then after this day is done and I write down the things that I did yesterday, and notice I've got gaps in between things. Even on my busiest days, which are usually Wednesdays, I specifically time things so I have space to rest and recover. Yeah. Yeah. And here's the funny thing I got to share with people, and this is kind of one of those things, what really grinds my gears? One of those that really chaps my ass. One of those is when we have created an official title for something, but that official title does not help us. Look at what Patty M says. I have executive decision problem freeze. Candace says, I have analysis paralysis. Yeah. What I offer is notice that, but giving it a fancy name just makes it worse. Candace, you are unfrozen. Boom, I just tagged you. And how you do that is you break the spell. So seriously, don't even say I have this. The more serious you make it, the more you feel like it is a diagnosis. No, I feel overwhelmed is good enough. Just leave it at that. I have the feeling of overwhelm, you know? So notice, do not make it any more serious than it is. Do not give it an official title. Screw that. Declutter that and say, I feel overwhelmed because you can do something about it. Yay. Cheryl says, my notebook has been life changing. So grateful for this tool. Awesome. Now, Anne is asking, Beth, this sounds like a dumb question. No, there are no dumb questions. So I want to even start with that, please, everybody. Dumb question like implies the fear of judgment prior to asking a question. No, questions are the root of curiosity. Curiosity is one of the best things you can feel and have the skill of being curious because that's how you find shit out. So there are no dumb questions anywhere, and anybody who's judging you and says that's a dumb question is an asshole. So they are not worthy of you asking them, asking the right people. So no, never be afraid to ask a question. Okay? What would you say? So Anne is asking a smart question. This is a smart question. Any question is smart because it means that I don't understand something, but I want to find out. I want to get your opinion. What would you say to logical type people who say that you need to get things done and not worry about feelings? Here's what I would say, honestly. I have a sassy pants inside of me. Do not worry. So I would say, fuck you. But no, but lovingly, I would say, fine. You do what works for you. What you do does not work for me. If that works for you, have at it. Go to town. You just go and not feel your feelings and do your thing. If it works for you, awesome. But that doesn't work for me. Also awesome. Now, obviously, there's a judgment for the logical people who say, just do it. I'm not like that. It doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for a wicked lot of people. And to me, honestly, too, it may work temporarily, but it does not work in the long term organically. Just do it means ignoring a lot of things. It's like strip mining. It's like farming, factory farming versus organically farming. Sustainably farming, noticing the trends and the rhythms of nature and feeling feelings and letting some of your ground rest so it can be, the nutrients can be better, and then going and putting your cows in another pasture. Okay. So, yeah. So please, that was a really good question. And I think it's really important for all of us to realize and to be cool with and stand up for the fact that if that works for you, great. But that does not work for me. So I'm going to do something different over here. And if I don't know what it is, at least I'm one step closer to knowing what it is because I know it's not what you're doing. And I will even venture that those tough people on the outside are feeling feelings, but they're feeling miserable. And so they are trying to ser- s- they're trying to solve SALVE and SOLVE their feeling of misery from the outside in, with money, with food, with drugs, with sex, with purchasing stuff, with beating people up, with feeling mean. They're trying to solve their unhappiness from the outside in. And as we are all finding out, it really can only happen from the inside out. So there's that. I hope that helped. Okay. Yeah. And Anne says, don't worry about overwhelm, just do the thing, don't make excuses. But I will say this, sometimes just doing the thing also it makes you need to chunk it down. Just do it. You know what I mean? Like don't excuses is a reason for not doing it. So listen to your excuses so you can find out why you're not doing it. That helps you understand why you're not doing it so you can better get how you do it. Okay, so Becky, I love this. Wrote the overwhelming things on the left side of my folded page. Do I write something on the right? Okay, I offer this. Does it feel any better? Do you feel better kind of now seeing the things you're overwhelmed with? The other thing I would say is, much like, and again, I use the same few tools over and over again. Okay. Yes, exactly. Higher judgment. Notice how you're also not judging you, not judging them. You're saying, yeah, if that works for you, fine, but not me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with me for the fact that what works for you, don't judge me. Don't judge me. That was not a Taylor Dane song, but it could have been. Um, so Becky, this is what I would suggest is okay, the stuff that overwhelms you, can you chunk it down? Saying, ask yourself, chunk it down. So the thing that overwhelmed, the very first thing that you overwhelmed, how can I chunk it down? Yeah, notice. I love this. She says, yes, it doesn't feel like as much when it's written down than when it's rolling around in my mind. So learn from that. Learn from that. The other thing, too, Becky, I would say if you have certain things that are overwhelming you for this week, do exactly what I was offering earlier with, and I apologize, it was Patty M. Get a notebook. Each day is going to be Monday through Friday. This is, the day and the hours, the day and the hours, the day and the hours. And then the things that are already scheduled, plop them in there. What this does is it, instead of taking a finite area of time task, when you write it down, it has a boundary around it. Okay. It is a kind of a start time and a stop time. And even if the start time is 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. until 7, that's still a chunk. When you don't write that down, your brain thinks it's going to take forever. It just expands it. Your brain is not a really good thing at just at figuring out time and reminding yourself when you do have time to do something else. That's why literally, like, I will notice when I've got things that are scheduled and I make time. I try not to triple book myself. Like today I am, but I'm feeling fine. When you see where you have stuff going on, that's good. When you notice all the blank space, that you notice that around those things you've got scheduled, you also have time to breathe, that you do have enough time to do other things. And what those other things are can um, are totally up to you. And notice the difference. Let's also bring in the oppositizer, as I was joking the other day. The opposite. The opposite of I don't have time would be to see if you do have time, realizing oftentimes you do have time, and saying, I do have more time than I thought. I have plenty of time. Notice which one of those sentences feels better. I don't have time. I've got time. I can do that. I don't have time. I can't do it. I do have time. I can do it. Now I can't do it all. Good. We don't want all. We just want a chunk. We don't want perfect. We just want better. We want chunks and better because those are the things that will calm down your nervous system and make you not just think you can do it, but feel you can do it. And that thinking and feeling you can do it gets you taking that first step, gets you started, gets you in gear and driving in the direction you want to go to, that first mile. and learning how to get yourself out of stuck, out of spinning your wheels. So here's the thing, instead of functional freeze, I could get all fancy and go back to that. You're in your car and you are spinning your wheels, but you're not going anywhere. You're in neutral and you're wasting your energy because you are keep on pressing on the gas, but because you're not in gear, you're wasting your energy because you don't know where to go. When you write down what's going on, then you oftentimes will see, well, I'm going to go to this one first and then that one, and then at least gets you into drive. Or for me, I have to get into reverse to back out of my driveway. But then I know exactly where I'm going to be headed is just to that first chunk. I'm going to go to TikTok first, then I'm going to go to YouTube first, and then I'm going to go to a decluttering party. And then after that, this is the great thing. I have some things scheduled in. See that? This is this morning. And then on the other half, because I like to fold my paper in half, it's been working for me, so I do it. Then there's other stuff I want to get done today, and I'll kind of get it done around here. And that stuff doesn't need to be as regimented. What has worked for me, so I share it with you, is a nice kind of combo plate of structure and flexibility. Too much flexibility and I'm getting nothing done. Too much structure and I'm feeling really like don't fence me in. I get very uptight about that. Like it just rubs me the wrong way. But a combo plate with both of those, that's good. That's like the yin and yang. That's like the crunchy and the smooth. That's like the sweet and salty. That's a wonderful combo of living my day. And the neat thing is when I remind myself that I do have time and it doesn't really matter when I get some of these stuff done, but some of them do. Like I can pay a bill online anytime. I'm not about to text my mother at 10 o'clock in the evening to see how she's doing. So certain things will organically make sense to do at certain times. Other ones, it's like I can do that whenever. And so I'll do it when I feel like it. And if it has to be done today, that's great. I'll do it. And if not, I'll flip it to the next day. Cutting myself some slack, doing it at a pace that feels good to me. And I will tell you, when you know your sweet spots of when things feel easier to do, then you schedule the things for those times. And then you know that there are other times when it's not so easy for you to do it. And then you do other things then. Okay. That's what I do. And it works for me. And I hope it works for you too. Okay. I seriously, no lie, this would be interesting actually, because my TikTok, what do you call it? Videos, not my, yeah, like I guess it would be my TikTok videos. I have videos on my YouTube channel way back. Let me see playlists. Okay. Okay. My very first official playlist for of videos. And this is crazy because this is before I started organizing them. There's one playlist, like February of 2023. There's a playlist with 8 videos in it, but there's another one, literally. Um, I've probably been using this process for years now, and it is working so well. I see no reason to change it. What I used to do before wasn't giving me this sense of flexibility and accomplishment. So notice what I'm doing. I'm chunking things down. I'm writing things down. To get myself to even try that, I need to calm down my nervous system. But also, when I am sitting down and I am writing down and I am chunking down, that process calms down my nervous system. It quiets down my backseat driver who's all freaked out that we don't have enough time. And when I'm calmed down and quiet down and writing down, then again, my backseat driver is then quieted down. And then you know who speaks up? My co pilot to be like, I got this. I can do this. This is no big deal. Let's do this. Let's just get it done. So much better. Let's just do it, you know? And sometimes what I do too is I chunk down the stuff that I have to do to even further. Instead of clean the kitchen, I'll write down, do the dishes, wipe the floor, wipe the counters. You know, I could say wipe all surfaces, but that's only one dopamine hit. ADHD, why not get more little Hershey's Kisses? So it's like um, wipe down the counters, wipe down the table, wipe down the floor. 3 Hershey's Kisses. Why not maximize the rewards for all these things? Somebody was talking earlier about doing their chores. A chore feels like something you have to do, and technically I try not to have to do anything. Do I want to do it? Wanting to do something means there's something in it for you, either in the process or at the end of it. So what's in it for me is a really good question to ask. And then answering what's in it for me. And to me, it's like feeling good. Looking at something and feeling good that there's no crumbs on the counter. So I wipe the counter down and I don't see crumbs and I feel good when I look and there's no crumbs on the counter. I hope that helped. Did that help? Now it's funny because I realize I've got my own habit tracker here. And initially, I think it was either Becky or it was Patty or somebody was saying to use the habit tracker. Habit tracker is for those things that many of us think if we do it on a daily basis, we'll feel better. So even on your habit tracker, just putting something as vague as declutter for 15 minutes. Then, no matter whatever 15 minutes you spend decluttering is something you can just fill in the blank. But I really know that using a calendar, your calendar is one of the major awesome tools in your life. You may have conflicting feelings about it, about how that it was used in the past, but a calendar helps you. A calendar is a tool that helps you get stuff done at a pace that feels good to you. It allows you to maximize the joy in your life because you can say yes to a party, and if you put it on your calendar, you're more likely to remember to show up to that party versus if you don't put it on your calendar, you say, "Oh, I'll remember that." And then the human brain, it's a creative, unreplicable source of creativity, but it's like it's not a good secretary. Okay? So embrace the both. Be the wildly creative brain and the Miss Sakamoto in, Thomas Dolby's Blinded Me with Silence, Science. Both of those things work well together. You don't have to be either, you can be both. You can both be the person who knows where things are and makes things run smoothly and the creative person. They do not have to be separate, and to me, when I have that combo, it's the best ever. Now I love it. Patty M says, this morning the sink was full and it was empty last night. So you emptied it and filled the dishwasher. Okay, went ahead and ran it so ready for the daily dishes. Now I love that you did that, Patty, because it felt good to you. But here's an interesting thing. Now I can't remember because we've been here. Ooh, it's 9:53. We've got 7 minutes until the declutter party. If anybody wants to join in, I'm going to be shifting to that. So let me get my stuff ready. You've got a teen in the house. Now, being a teen, yeah, teenagers, rebellious, I know that. But what I want to offer to you is teaching them how to take care of their own shit, teaching them that they are responsible for their own shit, that they are responsible, that when you live in a community, you need to participate in the maintenance of that community, that it doesn't fall to just one person. Now, this is a concept that works well outside of the house, but it also works really well inside the house. So I offer to you that if the dishes in the sink were caused by the teen, I think it would be a really good life lesson and beneficial to remind the teen that the expectation is that they put their dishes in the dishwasher when they are done with them. That as an adult, when they grow, when they fly the nest, that part of what they will do in their homes is to do their own dishes because mom won't be there to do them. So it might be helpful to start them on that habit now. But notice how I'm talking about this just very kind of um, dispassionately and just kind of in logical terms without getting my heart involved, that there's no tug of war. To think of, if you want a clean apartment when you move out, that you might want to practice taking care of your own stuff right now while you're still in this house. Now, I know there's a lot of drama and things around anybody who lives together, but when you approach them about that, doing it with love in your heart, trying to set them up to be a good, responsible person for themselves can also help you too. Okay. Um, no, I love it. Have a super day, Kimberly Cox. Erin Collins says, preach. Yeah, I'm preaching. I could preach to your girls. Hopefully you're saying it to them too. But you know what? Everybody, including us, is benefits from somebody else's hard work. And when we realize we may need to participate when previously we aren't participating, there's going to be some resistance. Why change it? It works for me. Why change it? Because it's an inequitable distribution of work. That's why there are so many people in the world today that are resistant to changing and helping other people because they have it comfy because somebody else has it very uncomfy. So it's a scalable concept. And when you can learn to do that in your own house, you're coming out with better people coming out of your house. You're growing people that don't expect for somebody else to clean up their mess. You know, Becky's going to the doctors. I love it. Thank you guys for keeping me in mind that we've got 4 minutes here, and I'm going to go over to the YouTube or the declutter party. So that being said, the declutter folks, I want to make sure I'm taking care of them. So I'm going to sign off in like a minute. Okay. 50 minutes, 58 minutes, close enough to an hour. Okay. Perfumes and Aromas puts a timer on your phone to clean up. I love that. Timer's a good tool in your toolkit. So is a habit tracker. So is a notebook. So anywhere you can build your toolkit. And the toolkit really is going to be about the thoughts in your head and the feelings in your heart that cause the actions of your hands. Okay. I'm going to end this now because I want to set up for the party, want to make sure everything's there. So when the guests arrive, I'm ready. You know, yeah, they are totally two different teens. And wow, do I have to repeat myself? Yes. Repetition is part of teaching. I have 700 videos, hour-long videos, probably. A lot of it is repeating the same thing. If you realize that you may need to repeat yourself for life, then realize that you can get aggravated about it. Be like, here I am again. Now, reminding is different though. We could get into that, and I would love to get into that because I love talking about this stuff, but I have a party to do and I got people waiting and I want to make sure they get in okay. You are invited to the party. DestinationDeclutter.com. Sign up for the mailing list. You can tune into the declutter party at all. This is one for now, and then we have one on the 31st. This has always been great. Thank you so much, you guys. I will see you tomorrow when I do a YouTube live and TikTok live. I will have to check the calendar to see when I'm doing that, but you know me, I'm good about showing up. So you too. Have a good day. I hope you learned something and take these skills with you and play with them throughout the day. All right. Toodles. Bye.